Hey guys, welcome back. We're excited to continue our Bible study. I know that you're already into the semester, whether you're in school or college or you're just working. God bless you in that. Let's begin by continuing where we left off in James chapter 2, verse 14 through 26. Hey guys, as you have read about faith and works, I want you to look at this first question. What good is it to have faith without any works, and can this faith save you? Think to the time when Jesus was on the cross, and he had two of the criminals next to him, and one of them believed in Christ, yet he had no deeds to back it up. And Jesus said, "Today you will be with me in paradise." It's kind of interesting, right? He had no deeds. But the reality is God knows the intent of our heart. And he knew that when this criminal said, "Remember me when you get into your kingdom," he understood that Jesus was going to defeat death, and that was deemed righteous to him. In the Bible, in Hebrews 10:13, we read, "Whoever calls on the name of the Lord will be saved." The next question that I want you guys to discuss is, can we separate faith from works? Faith without works is dead. James challenges us as believers, as people who have faith, to back it up with works. See, God knows the integrity of our heart, but us as humans, we look for the outwardly fruit. And if we have true faith, it's got to be backed up by our actions, by our deeds on the daily. There was a pastor that in Ukraine that was driving to church one time with another pastor, and he sees a man in a puddle just laying there, and they stop, pull over, they come grab the man out of this puddle. He's all soaking wet, he smells like alcohol, he's drunk, and they lay him in the back seat of his nice new car, and they drive him across town to his apartment. And the apartments there are not like our typical apartments. They're like 30 stories high sometimes. And of course the elevator didn't work, so they start dragging this man up. I believe it was 8th or 9th floor. And he's a heavy guy. The pastor's just kind of chugging him up the steps. The guy's smelling, he's all wet, he's just murmuring a bunch of gibberish. And they knock on his apartment door. His wife opens the door, and she starts abusing the pastor verbally, really saying, "Hey, why are you bringing my husband like this?" and all this stuff. So the pastor, he did his duty, and he left. And as he shared this example one time at a church service, that man that he helped, the drunkard, was actually there, and he came to Christ. It's kind of an awesome testimony, but it shows that if we believe, right, if we believe what Jesus told us to do, take care of the orphans, help the widows, but pray for the sick for healing, visit those who are in prison, we must back that up with our deeds. And lastly, we read about Abraham. This chapter is kind of finished with the story about Abraham. How does Abraham prove that faith without deeds is dead? Abraham, or Father Abraham, had many sons. It turns out he actually had one son. But we know Abraham as kind of an all-star of the Bible, somebody that we look up to in our faith. And Abraham was promised a son, and he had to wait a long time to have that promise fulfilled, but God fulfilled that promise, and he had this son Isaac. And you see things kind of start going in the right direction. Isaac is growing up. But God comes back to Abraham and says, "Abraham, take the son whom you love, and bring him up to Mount Moriah and offer him as a sacrifice there." And, in our mind, I'm thinking, why? Why does this have to happen? God, he waited so long for this. This is something that he loves. And it seems like it's all going to be taken away, and it's kind of a crazy request, right? But it says that Abraham, that very next day, he took a 3-day journey. And you can only imagine what's going on in Abraham's mind for these 3 days. Maybe he's questioning, maybe he's not, maybe he's just doing what God told him. So he takes this 3-day journey, and he's already getting ready to basically bring his son as a sacrifice, and God stops him at the last minute. And we see that Abraham proved his faithfulness to God through his deeds. He didn't just say, I believe in God. He actually did what God asked him to do, even though it looked like it was the last thing anybody would want to do on this planet. You know, James calls us and challenges us to also prove our faith with our deeds. And as we close tonight, I want you guys to pray and ask God that He gives us the power to prove our faith with our actions, right? To not just be hearers of the word, but to actually be doers, you know, in school, at work, wherever we are, so that God can guide us in the direction where He wants us to go, and to share His love with those around us. God bless you guys, and I'll see you guys next time.